Alrighty, welcome back. Today we're going to try and get this old rusty donkey, see if we can get it fired up. It's supposed to ran last year. Battery's dead, obviously, but it's a gas motor and a little bit of love juice, some starting fluid, and some fresh gas. We should be able to get it going, I guess. The tank, he said, had a small leak in it. Obviously, you can see it's well supported by one ratchet strap. The other ones are absent. But either way, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna put some fuel in this, see how bad it leaks. Oh, it's right there, wet, I see it. But anyway, if it's just a drip, we'll let it rip. But I have another truck that has a full tank of gas, junk truck, and a similar gas tank, I believe. So maybe we'll be able to swap the whole thing. Anyway, let's get going. See if we can get this airbox cover open. And the way they designed Fords is it's like they wanted you to be able to take the box, stretch it over to here, that way you can crank and spray starting fluid at the same time. Of course, that one's just spinning. Doesn't work. And that one's got a different screw. Fantastic. Stripped as well. Even cooler. That's unfortunate. Just take the whole airbox out then. Oh, look at that, it ruined the camera angle. That's cool. All right, let's see if we can get old Piglet fired up with some go-go juice. I know, it's not good to start something and keep it running, blah, blah, blah. Spare me. We're not dealing with a Rolls Royce here. Maybe she needs a direct port shot here. Kind of just getting a nitrous spray instead of a fogger system. There you go. There we go. See, she needed the fogger system. Only if Badger was here to help hold this damn bottle. Well, that was half a can of ether in her, plus revving it up. I think she's good to go. For those of you who don't know what I was referring to, starting fluid is very raw and hard on valve train and piston rings and stuff like that for starting vehicles. It's extremely raw. But anyway, that's what I was referring to. I know somebody's gonna say it's not a good idea to start and run a vehicle on starting fluid. Not trying to be a DICK there, but I've heard it before. I know it. I mean, like I said, we're not dealing with a Rolls Royce or a 8-second drag car motor here. I mean, it's a $500 pickup truck. But anyway, we're gonna siphon the gas out of the tank that we got. Got my hose just for that today. And we'll stick 5 gallons in it and see how bad it's leaking and see if we can get it running and driving. And spin the tires, of course. All right, so here's the gas donor. For those of you who remember, this was the $100 truck that doesn't have oil pressure, or at least the gauge doesn't read, but it ran long enough to do a burnout and drove a mile or so away to here. But anyway, it's looking pretty rough. Little tree trying to grow out of it. And the guy told me when I got this from him that he just filled both tanks up. This is one of the trucks with a tank along the frame rail and one across the back. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and drop this tank on the side because it's easier to get to, and then we can just switch the fuel switch inside when we want to get it running again to the back tank. Very good. You didn't think I was going to unbolt it, did you? Oh, look at that Sawzall blade. Good thing we don't pay much for these junk Linux. There we go. All right, so we'll cut these lines a little long. Maybe the whole thing might even work on the other truck, sending unit and all. We'll see. Did you see it come through the line? It's the power of siphon. Best way to do it. I've gotten many mouthfuls of gas and diesel on the way to learning how to do it correctly. All right, so you get yourself a funnel, and then you get yourself a relatively clean rag, and we're gonna use that to filter the gas, any kind of rust and all that was in the bottom of the junk truck tank. It flows through fairly well, unless it starts to get clogged up. But we're gonna put 4 or 5 gallons in, try and get the fuel pump to push some fuel up to the intake, and then fire it up. Unless it just absolutely pours out of the gas tank, then we'll maybe switch them or do something else. Nothing obvious yet. Let's give it a good nitrous fogger spray here. It's got two intake pipes, so we'll go ahead and load them both up. That way maybe it'll run. Oh, look at that. A full can into her. Wow. All right, let's set this here and maybe it will run. Alright, of course we couldn't get that lucky. It's going to take 10 or 15 times of cycling the key to prime the fuel pump up, if that's how this fuel pump works. Some only turn on while you're cranking. If anybody knows, feel free to let me know. Ford 460. Well, there she is in all her glory, in 5 or 6 hours of messing around figuring out what's wrong. So originally I figured out the problem was the fuel pump. Put the test light on it, no power to key, nothing like that, so that was trash. Put a new pump in, then the pressure from that, I guess from sitting, pushed the rusty little in-frame filter. I threw that in the scrap pile already, but that's a filter off the other truck that we got the tank out of. But the little nipple on the end here rusted off, so it wasn't getting any fuel to the motor. So we went and scrounged that up, stuck that in, didn't put the clamps back on. I need to do that before somebody tells me. But and then I had to get the Badger to come over and help me. Let me walk back over here. Enough rambling. Because the tank was so rotten when I put some gas in it. I mean, it's just absolutely gone all along the edge here. Look at that paper thin. So that's the end of that. And so we just stuck the tank in from the other truck. Not too shabby. 600-700 bucks, let it go. Nice tires, does good burnouts, at least as long as you're in the dirt. So that's about it. I know I should be videotaping while I'm changing parts and figuring out problems and whatnot, but I didn't get to it. Busy. Let's see if it'll start again. And it's got fancy push button start. Look at that, like a champ. All right, see you all next time. Thanks for watching.
On the bag, so.
No big deal.
Yeah, like I said, I've got a truck. I need a set of tires on, and I bought it. It has a plow in the back and the hydraulics and all that, but it don't got the plow mount.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, you know, the actual part, the sides and the receiver and the mount goes too. And the called the company back we bought it from, so that's all we got. Like, you couldn't have used it, I guess. Yeah, we were using it.
Right. Yeah, I gotcha.
You know, and so I'd love to make the road trip and get that thing.
Right. I mean, there's, you know, a lot of people called about it. Somebody's supposed to be here today at 4 to get it. I don't, you know, whether or not that happens, I don't know, but
Right, yeah.
let me just let me know whenever, you know, if you want to come, whenever.
Can you shoot me an address or close to an address so I can see how far you are, and I'll hit you back with a text?
Yep, sounds good.
But I'm not coming to kick tires. I'm sending to buy, so, you know.
I hear you. Yep, no problem. I'll send you the address right now.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Yep,
Bye.
right. That's a very common phrase. I'm coming to buy it. I'm bringing cash. We'll see if it happens today at 4 o'clock or not. See, it's parts like this that I generally cut out of the video because I like for it to be exciting and action at all times. But I think I'm gonna leave this one in. This is probably going on like a minute and a half maybe. I mean, of just straight silence and boredom. I mean, a little bit of me blabbering and overfilling the funnel. But like I said, it just seemed like if I was watching a video of a guy dumping gas into a funnel with a rag, I'd be interested for the first 2 seconds because he's smart putting a rag in it and blah blah blah, and then I'd be like, all right, fast forward, this is boring. Okay, let's see, no obvious drips yet. That was the camera stand there so you guys could see in the funnel and whatnot. I don't see any. Oh, one little bit of wet. And it smells like gas. Anyway, okay. That's fire. What else was I gonna